Hey everybody, I'm Joel Stottlemyre, and this is my hot pink bedroom with the big black polka dots, and we are here today to have our Dryden weekly hangout. This is something that we at the Dryden, we Dryden folks do pretty much every week. We get together and talk about what's going on. So the Dryden experiment, just to give you the 30-second introduction, is a cooperative publishing model. We create entire environments, science fiction universes, horror universes, steampunk universes, and then we place those universes under the Creative Commons so that other people are free to come in and use the material that they want to, on the condition that they put the material that they create under the same Creative Commons license, so that we all work cooperatively and spread. We build very large environments, very involved environments doing that, and we also get the cross-promotional support. We're constantly plugging and backing and supporting each other. So we get a lot more market reach than we would have otherwise. We've got a really exciting week coming up this week. Joining me tonight are Tracy Vincent, Fluffy
Hello.
Sama, and Eugene Kelly. Let's start with Tracy. Tracy, you just want to kind of say hi and who you are and maybe what's exciting about your week this week?
Hi, my name is Tracy. I am an editor at Dryden. I also have written a story which comes out Monday.
Da-da-da-da.
Da-da-da-da. Actually, it's already
Da-da-da-da.
come out,
It's
kind
already
of,
available.
sort of.
Yeah.
It's available on Amazon. It's not and on Smashwords, but it's not really available anywhere else yet.
Yep.
But yeah, we're celebrating Monday night.
Da-da-da-da. And what's the name, Tracy, of your story and the book that it's a part of?
The name of my story is Uncall, and it's part of Rise of the European, which is a science fiction anthology of a major event in the Dryden universe.
In the science fiction environment. Wonderful. And next with us this evening is Fluffy Sama. Fluffy, you want to say a quick hello? This is the first time Fluffy has joined us for a weekly meeting, so we're being as cruel as we possibly can. Make it a brutal experience. Fluffy, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Um, Hi. I am contributing to the horror, what's it called?
Anthology.
Anthology, and possibly other stuff in the future. So,
Awesome. So what's happening is that now that the science fiction universe is well established, we're beginning to move out into some of the other genres and work on them and sort of put foundational material out there. And we've invited a group of authors to come in and give us horror material sort of around a theme to be the foundation of that horror environment, and we'll talk about that book here in a little bit, but Fluffy is one of the authors on that, and it will be Fluffy's first publication with us, so we're very excited. Woohoo! Welcome aboard. And also with us, Eugene Kelly is with us. Eugene has also got a story in Rise of the European and will also be participating in Nightmares. Unfortunately, Eugene's microphone is not working this evening, so we get to talk about him a lot, and he just has to take it. He will actually be participating in the conversation through the chat, but is going to be a little slow to introduce himself because he doesn't have a microphone. So, Eugene, thanks for joining us this evening. All right, so one of the things, what we sort of typically do is go through the projects that are coming and use this as an opportunity to get everybody oriented. We have, I don't know how many different people working in the environments now, 30-some, and we have a sort of a need to keep everybody oriented, and this meeting is the way we do it. We record this meeting, and then throughout the course of the week, like our artistic designer, Gavin, will come in and watch this video, and other people who are interested in what we're doing will watch this video. And so we're going to kind of go through the projects that are out there and that are coming, and talk about where people can get involved if they're interested in getting involved. The one thing that I wanted to kind of hit on before we start is how truly cooperative we are. One of the things that is absolutely in the language when we talk about how the Dryden experiment works is that you are not obligated to work with us. Tracy and Gavin and I own Dryden House, which is a small publishing company that exclusively serves people working in the Dryden experiment. We don't publish anything else. but there is no obligation actually to publish with us in order to be participating in Dryden. Because the science fiction universe is entirely under the Creative Commons license, if you were to come along with a book you wanted to publish yourself, you would be free to do so. A game you wanted to develop, you'd be free to do so. You just have to remember to honor the Creative Commons and place your material under the Creative Commons too, and then give us the opportunity to support you and you the opportunity to support us. I say that because we've got several projects coming that are sort of happening out on the fringes of the Dryden universe, and we're really excited about those projects, and we want to make sure and support them, even if they aren't actually books that Dryden House is going to publish or actually projects that Dryden House is going to build. So several times tonight I'm going to kind of go, that's not Dryden House. That's Dryden, but it's not Dryden House. And what I'm talking about at that moment is that ability to go ahead and work independently and work on the things you want to work on. So I just want to make sure we talk about that. So, Tracy and Eugene, I got to tell you, something is happening on Monday. Da-da-da-da. Thing of legend. As Tracy...
Damien's going to get drunk and fall out his window.
That's right. Our whole goal is to get Damien drunk so that he will fall out his window. And later we're going to be in a court case and they're going to be like, Joel, I have you on video twice saying that that's the goal. And we didn't actually do it. No. We had this moment that happens in the science fiction universe in the year 2700 where really the entire rules of the universe change. We leave the hard science fiction part of history and move into the space opera sort of time in the history of the universe, and we wanted a significant event to be that break for us. And we actually knew what the event was. There's a life form living in the bottom of the ocean of Europa that has mostly ignored humans for the last 700 years, 500 years, and it decides that it's had enough and that it's time to have the humans off of Europa, and that ends up being a very bad day for the humans. And what we did is we brought in 6 authors who we had looked at or talked to but hadn't published before, and we got each one of them to write a story about that event. So they took someone's perspective. One of the stories, Kitty Sarkozy's, is literally called Average Joe. She just wanted to tell the story of what happens to the guy who thought he was going home from work when suddenly the alien sea monster destroys the planet. And so she wrote that story. We have a story that happens before when nobody realizes what the Europan is doing. We have a story that happens after. And Eugene has actually taken the voice of the Europan and has written the Europan's perspective, and it's pretty intense. But after 5 months of work, we are going to print. We are actually available on Smashwords. We are available on Amazon. We have not filtered out to Barnes & Noble and some of the other folks that will pick us up, but we will over the course of the next week or so. And Monday night at 6:30 Central Time, the 6 authors and me, and I think Gavin may actually drop in, although it's like 3 o'clock in the morning Gavin's time, so I don't know if that's going to happen. And folks' boyfriends and girlfriends and other fans of Dryden will be getting together and just having one hell of a party. We're really excited. We've got a lot of people who have worked very hard and are eager to let off steam. We continue to threaten to throw Damien out a window. Damien told me he was going to start a drinking game where you drink every time I forget what I'm talking about, and I said that is such bullshit. I forgot my pizza. I think it's in the oven, and I plan to do that about 900 times in the course of the evening. So
we're going to get completely blitzed.
So I feel bad for the people who have to work Tuesday morning because it's going to be a long, rough night. And we have a very special thank you gift coming from us at Dryden House. I don't want to spill the beans on that because even if I try to give a tease, it'll be a spoiler and I'll ruin it. But Dryden House has done a little bit of something extra as a thank you for all of our authors and reviewers and everybody who worked so hard to make that book real.
Is this the thing that had you all emotional?
Yes.
Okay, say no more.
I cried about it when I saw it because I was so moved.
For 45 minutes.
Tracy accused me of wearing my panties on my forehead.
I
It was a
did.
very beautiful moment, and I was really excited. I'm really excited to show it to everybody on Monday night, and I'm having to really keep myself in check to not just blow it right now. But then that's not the end of the week for Dryden. On Friday, uh, the 4th, we will be getting together for Dryden Plays Dryden, which is where Tracy and I play a session of Big Damn Dryden with the game designer Nicholas Mall. And we will be playing the Bleeding Minds expansion because Friday is the release day for the Bleeding Minds expansion. Da 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 da. And I will not be getting any sleep between now and then. Um, but we're very excited. We've got that posted. I don't think we've started an event, have we, Tracy?
No, sir, not that I have done.
I've got it on YouTube, but I haven't started the Facebook event. Will you start the Facebook event for us?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. So we'll get a bunch of invites out and make sure we get everybody invited to that and make sure we make it public. God, every time I do that, I make it private first, and then I have to go back and start over. It makes me crazy.
Feel that?
God, it's right there. It's at the very first step. You go past it without realizing it, and then you have a private event, and you have to, nothing wrong with private events, but we tend to host public ones. All right, so that's next week.
That's so you can keep your pants on.
We have Monday and we have Friday of next week. We are cracking it next week. Then the next event that's coming up after that, and I want to encourage everybody who has not participated, supported in some way to do so. MoatCon out there in North Carolina is happening between December the 11th and 13th. That's Russell. Today is Russell's birthday, by the way. Russell Sawyer's con out there. Russell is a great guy. He played Dryden Plays Dryden with us for the release of the original game. And the thing that kind of sets MoatCon apart in my mind is that they give 75% of their net profits to WAGs for Tags, which is an organization that matches shelter dogs with returning vets with PTSD and other issues. So not only does Russell throw down hardcore when it comes to role-playing, but then he's also a pretty decent human being, and we find that a nice combination. So MoatCon will be the 11th to the 13th. Dryden will be there. There will be people playing Big Damn Dryden at the tables during MoatCon. We encourage you all to stop by their website, sign up, donate, whatever you can do. Woohoo, Russell. All right, the next event, and Tracy, feel free to jump in anywhere I'm missing anything.
I will.
Thank you very much. The next thing that's coming up is that we will be appearing in Myth Horde. And Myth Horde is this very cool organization. I also encourage you to go visit their website and take a peek at them. What Myth Horde does is once a month they will send you a box of role-playing paraphernalia. And it's full games sometimes, it's miniatures sometimes, it's modules, and what we will be sending them is the free introductory version of Big Damn Dryden. It'll be going out to everybody, I think, in the January Horde box. But we will be getting them those materials here shortly. So Myth Horde, we are on board with you. We think that Myth Horde rocks and want to call them out and say good things about them. The next event that we have after that is the Kickstarter for Big Damn Space Battles, which is a separate independent game from Big Damn Dryden, but obviously related, closely related. It's ship-to-ship combat in the Dryden universe, science fiction universe, and Nick's insight. Nick, who owns Owlman Press and builds the games for us, his insight was we can build everything you ever wanted on a miniature game, except we can put them on playing cards, which are extremely cheap, unlike miniatures, which are extremely expensive. So what we're going to have is we're going to have, for those of you who know Magic the Gathering, we're going to have a sort of a Magic-like card that's going to have your spaceship on it, and it's going to have your space, your structure and engine and firepower, and so on and so forth for your ship, and then you'll place other cards underneath it that are the captain of the ship and upgrades for the ship, and then you'll take your ships literally and place them on the board and start moving them around and be able to have epic space battles. And it's really cool. Nick wrote the rules for how you would use cloaking devices in an environment like that, and my immediate question was, Nick, how do you cloak ships when you've got them laid out on the board? And his answer was brilliant. Ta-da! So I was really, really excited about that. We already have our artists all lined up. We are really, really pleased and impressed with the artists that we have scored. Don Van Osdal, who wrote Anthology of the Other and is one of the authors of Rise of the Europan, will be doing Cirque Corporation ships. Mike Vesa, who did that fabulous post-apocalypse woman that you saw go up on our page the other day with the rebreather on, and who is a professional artist there in Germany. There's a website that I posted the link to today on the Dryden Author and Artist page that's all of her children's books. She's a fabulously talented author and artist, and she will be doing the TerraCore ships. And then Charlotte Garnier, who invented the Ile Solitaire, which are the cybernetic space whales, has agreed to do the Lincore ships. So all three of the major corporations in the universe will be represented. Each one will have its own artist, and we will launch that Kickstarter, hopefully, this is a projected date, January 1, if I'm not killing myself with all these projects. We don't have a release date for the actual game. We'll have to get further into it to be able to see. We are interested in play testers. If you are patient and don't mind rules that are terribly confused and in draft form, we would love to have some play testers come forward. And at this point, we don't even need like full tests of the game. We need somebody to set out 2 cards on a table and look at the rule book and go, so if I wanted to write and sort of do the math and just give us some practice with the system, Nick's games, if you've seen Big Damn Dryden or Big Damn Sci-Fi or any of his games, Frankenstein, Atomic Frontier, you know that his games are really eminently playable. He believes in efficient systems that don't keep you hung up and arguing over rules all night. And that's what he's done for this game. But we do need some people to test it for us. So if you're interested in that, we would love to throw some Big Damn Space battles at you. All right. The next thing that I want to talk about that's coming is one of those things that I was talking about that's coming from an independent. It's coming from far off to the left. I don't know if Dryden will publish it or not. I haven't heard back. But Russell Sawyer and his son are working on a project called H+. And he's got a book cover. It looks really nice. I should get that link and post it. And he's looking at I can't remember what he called it, augmented humans and post-humans in the Dryden universe. And one of the things that has come out is, especially as Big Damn Dryden is developed, is that by 500 or 700 years in the future, we have the ability to splice genes, we have the ability to cloak, or to clone, we have the ability to use cybernetic weapons. We will now have psychics as of next Friday. We also have some alien technology, and there's been some sort of work done on how humans would fuse with alien technology. And Russell and his son are doing some sort of a book that talks about those people, characters, creatures, what happens to humans as they begin to be trans. It was transhuman and posthumans in the Dryden universe. And I gather that it's sort of a role-playing supplement, but I don't know, and I'm really excited to see it. And I wanted to call it out right here because whether it comes through Dryden House or not, we're totally behind it and want to see more. Then the next project that's coming, and I don't know the date, but it's one that's definitely not coming through Dryden House, is The Dark Abyss. One of the very first authors who came in and started developing the science fiction universe with us was Daniel Hunt, and Dan continues to work with us. He's now back in the U.S. He's in St. Louis, which is nice. Dan has a story has a novel in our universe that is The Eclipsing of Cyrus C. Came out earlier this year. He has a story in Rise of the Europan, and he will have a short story collection coming out in early 2016, we don't know when, called Dark Abyss. And one of the things that's really exciting about when Dan Hunt story is coming is that Dan has done really more than anybody in terms of sort of setting the groundwork for the Dryden experiment. You'll see the TerraCore Space Marines referred to in a lot of our materials. They appear in the role-playing game and in Rise of the European. Those came from Dan. Dan and I had a great conversation 2 years ago about faster-than-light travel rules and how to avoid massive kinetic energy weapons that could just smash planets. And he's really, really very fundamental to why the Dryden universe works the way it does, and I'm really, really excited to see Dark Abyss. It is coming out through a separate publisher. We're not publishing it. We don't have any control over it, other than that Gavin designed the cover for it. But that's another example of folks who are working on their own and working independently and still very much a part of the Dryden universe. And I want to pause for a moment because Damian Roach has joined us.
Hey, Damien.
Hello.
How are you this evening, Damian?
Doing very well. How are you?
Well, you know, Damian, I'm having a great day, and I'll tell you why. Because your girlfriend, when I was unable to stalk you effectively, sent me photographs of your house so that I could be more effective in my stalking of you. And I have to tell you, I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, I saw that.
Catherine is a wonderful woman, and I think that you're very lucky.
I certainly do.
We're all very lucky to have Catherine helping us help you. Will she be joining us tomorrow night or Monday night?
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay. Well, I would hope so. I'd be very excited to see her. So, Damien, let's just stop where we are for a few seconds. You're involved in several Dryden projects, and I think I've talked about most of them. But it's still good to hear it from you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about where you are with Dryden and what it is that you do?
Sure. Well, I started working with Dryden earlier this year, and as some people might know, I'm working on Rise of the European. It's awesome. Can't wait. I'm doing some stuff for my blog, like I mentioned earlier. I'm working on doing the stats for the characters in my story using the Big Damn Dryden rules, which is pretty cool.
That's excellent.
So I'm going to put that on my site, and that'll be like a supplement that I'm
wonderful. And if you get so sophisticated as to writing full modules, we have an agreement with Nick for how to publish those. So we can absolutely take modules from third parties, fourth parties, fifth parties, whoever, and publish them and make them available in PDF through RPG Now. So if you do get that far, let us know. We have the mechanism set up. We haven't actually published anything that way, but we have the mechanism set up to do that. So. And Damien, I want to give you one moment of praise, but first I just want to mention that Fluffy Sama from the Dryden Nightmares collection that you are also participating in is here with us tonight. It's our first time live with Fluffy Sama, so hey, Fluffy. And I have draft material from Fluffy that I haven't read yet because I just got it today. But we
literally 10 minutes before this started.
Right, literally 10 minutes before we went on the air. But we are getting the material together for Nightmares, and it looks like we're going to be in good shape to have rough draft by January 1, sort of pending you and Kitty. But welcome to Fluffy and a sort of an introduction between the two of you. Eugene is also here with us this evening, but his microphone is not working. So we're talking terribly, horribly about him because he can't answer back. The other thing that I wanted to kind of say in praise of Damien before we move on, Damien runs the Worlds of D blog and has been beyond generous about doing interviews, posting reviews of books, writing blog posts ahead of release days, just a lot of really wonderful supportive work coming out of Worlds of D. So thanks very much for that.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun doing that, and I mentioned this to Tracy before, but until I started blogging for stuff about Dryden, I didn't really do much with my blog, and now I feel like I have more of a purpose with it, and it's been fun, like I said.
I got asked the other day why it was that we kept including our editors and reviewers and things. We asked, we're almost live with the website, which we've been saying for about 6 months, but now we actually are almost live with the website. And we ask for all of our bloggers and reviewers to send us biographies too. And one of them asked me, why do you want my review? Because without an audience, what we're doing is rhetorical. It takes the Dryden experiment is about that moment where the barrier between the audience and the producer of the material breaks down, and we no longer need that publisher in between us, and we can be directly in contact. And as much as we spend talking about the artists and the authors and how much we love them, the reviewers and the people who read the books, the people who purchase the books, are absolutely essential part of what we do. And Rebecca will have a review on or a biography on our website as if she had published with us, even though she hasn't. And I don't know what you sent in for your biography, but absolutely the link to Worlds of D should be in there. When we say we're all in this together, we mean the creatives and the viewers, the consumers. We want everybody together. So Worlds of D is a great moment for that. All right. So moving back into the list, we're sort of going chronologically like we did last time, Damien, and we are into mystery dates coming in the spring.
No, not mystery. Because Alder's World's not mystery.
Yeah, we haven't got to Alder's World yet, have we?
No, and it's before mystery.
Well, I have mystery dates. And then
well,
I have
don't
Alder's
get
World.
my feelings all hurt, yo.
I put this list down, and I asked you if you liked the list before we started.
I told you. I said.
Okay. So then comes Alder's World 3 because it actually has a date. We expect it in April. I managed to do what she wanted, but in a way that pissed her off anyway. I was married for years, y'all. I still am as far as that goes. All right. Alder's World 3 is coming out in April. It is the third installment of the book that I am writing in the Dryden universe. And that is a book about a guy named Sam Alder, who's the chief science officer on a ship that is way farther out in space than it ever should have gotten when something goes catastrophically and damn near all die. And then when they don't damn near all die, they damn near all die again. And I can't tell you more about it because there's a lot of spoilers in there. But they are the first known human encounter with the alien species, the Technoprey, who become very important later in the history of the Dryden universe. And parts 1 and 2 are available: Kindle, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Smashwords, everywhere. And part 3 will be coming out in April. And then sometime after that, probably not very long after that, we'll bundle the 3 together and do a print version of the whole book. So that'll be kind of nice. All right, is that better, Tracy?
Yeah.
Okay. Then the next thing with a mystery date on it is Patrons and Vassals, which I already have the rough draft of in my computer. And Patrons and Vassals is the rules expansion that introduces us to the minor corporations in the Dryden universe. Nick made a decision when he built the role-playing game that he wanted to focus on the sort of the cyber noir versions elements, the battles that go on between the big corporations, and so the base rule set covers those 3 big corporations: Lynn, TerraCore, and Cirque. But there are actually hundreds of different corporations and governments, and we literally can't ever know the full scope because it's always open for artists to create new ones or authors to create new ones. But we know. We know about the Sioux Fin, who are an independent planet. We know about the Interspecies Defense Fund, who are eco gorillas. We know about the Il Soltaire, who are cybernetic space whales. We've had encounters. Synapse Biotechnology actually appears in the Bleeding Mind because they're a biotech corporation that gets their hands dirty a lot with bad biotech. But
Making
we
it
wanted
very
we
dirty.
wanted once we got into the expansions to start looking at some of the other organizations that exist in the universe and the rules for those organizations, and patrons and vassals is going to be the rule expansion that gets us off into those smaller organizations. The League of Planets, for example, is actually a pretty big organization in the Dryden universe that hasn't been addressed in the rules. So we're looking forward to that rule set. I say I have the draft on my desktop. It continues to change. It's changing at the level that what is going to be included is still changing. So it is very rough in my desktop, but it is coming. I've seen it. Then the story that we keep referring to that is going to be only the second publication that is not in the science fiction universe. We're really ready to get behind the nightmares genre. Eugene, about 5 or 6 months ago now, wrote us this wonderful introduction to this sort of weird, twisted multiverse where the universe itself is sort of poisoned, and some of the parts of the multiverse are just completely nightmarish hell realms, and others of it are very sort of Earth-like realms that just have ghosts or demons or whatever sort of seeping into them. He wrote that fabulous introduction. We've had work from Damien. We've had work from Fluffy Sama. We've had work from me. We're really getting a pretty good body of work. We've got a couple of other authors who we think are in, and we're waiting for work from them. Our goal is to have rough draft by January, and then sort of once we've had a chance to look at all of that draft put together and ask, what is it going to take to make this work, we'll sort of pick a publication date sometime in the spring, maybe as early as March, maybe as late as May. We're just going to have to see what we've got once we've got it and where we are with all of our other projects. That will be called Dryden Nightmares. We have approached an artist about a cover. I'm not sure that that's what we're going to do, but Eugene did have an artist that he really liked, and we have talked to him, and I have a bid from him for the cover. I don't know. We'll maybe get all of us together who are involved in the project after January 1st and talk about how we'd like to represent it and what we'd like to do. But that is definitely coming. I have no idea what the total word count that we've got from available work, but we are getting up to sufficient, and more importantly, I think we're getting to the point where we've really kind of laid a foundation for how Nightmares works. The idea is that we want to be open to all types of horror, anybody who wants to bring in, whatever they want to bring in, and so we've introduced this twisted universe so that if you want to flatten out your part and sort of tell conventional horror stories, you can, or werewolf stories, or whatever you want. And then if you want to tell really weird Cthulhu-esque kind of things, we've created an open venue for all of that to go in. A lot of sort of weird elements, if you know the difference between horror and weird. We've built kind of a nice bridge out there. So that is coming, and we hope to have all draft in hand by January 1, and I think we're probably in pretty good shape to do that because we'll threaten Damien until he gives us it at the last minute.
I'll have mine by the 1st.
All right, very good, very good. The other two we've talked to Kitty Sarkozy, and I'm dropping a name. We have one other author that we think is in, but we haven't actually seen the draft, and I cannot now pick out who that is.
Well, you said the name before, too. I don't even remember. Jeez.
Anyway, but so I'm busily insulting someone by not remembering who they are, but that's all right. We'll struggle on somehow. So that gives us 5 authors, maybe 6 authors, with of course very diverse voices. We have a lot of really unique voices in Dryden, and I think that that's probably the foundation that we need. Then coming maybe in June or July, we sort of don't have a draft date yet, but we will be looking for draft maybe in February, is the Misakuta Appreciation Society. Misakuta started as an NPC in the Big Damn Dryden universe, and Gavin liked her so much that he drew this really fabulous cover with Misakuta on it. She's an assassin. And Misakuta has a sort of a distinct story for a couple of reasons. She is actually the clone of a 16th century Japanese warrior woman, and has stolen her own body. She was cloned by Synapse Biotechnology and went back and stole her own body. And she has a wire in her head, or actually a neural weave in her head, nanobots, that after she completes an assassination, they completely erase her memory. So she has no memory of the assassination that she has just committed, and therefore is completely anonymous. She can't tell you who hired her or who she killed or what she did. She's become very popular. Her fan page, the Misakuta Appreciation Society fan page, got a new follower today. She's really kind of a hit. There's a very nice piece of music that Gavin built out on SoundCloud. That's the Secret World of Lucy Akuta, and there's a couple of more. There's one of them is called, I think it was "Don't Cross Miss Akuta" or something is the name of the piece of music. um, but we have a really great cadre of authors signed up for that one. Tracy Vincent has already finished the draft of her story for the
Yep.
Misakuta Appreciation Society, and I've read that and enjoyed that. Gavin is going to contribute a story. Nick is going to contribute a story. I think Eugene and Damien are both going to contribute stories to Misakuta. We are really, really excited. We think that Misakuta is also, Eugene confirms, yes, that is what his plan. Misakuta makes a great sort of cover model for us. She's attractive and she's dangerous, and she has a lot of kind of that X factor. People want to write stories about her or draw art about her. Her fan page is growing as fast as some of our entire genres pages, and there's still only one actual image of her in existence.
But she's
so
hot.
she is very hot. You know, poor Gavin. We were talking the other day about all this research he's having to do on Asian women, beautiful Asian women, in order to find models for the artwork for Misakuta, and he was really suffering, I think, and really kind of taking
He
one
was
for
so put out. Oh, goodness. He's just like, I gotta do this again.
I can't. Yeah, okay. I would get in big trouble. All right. So that's the projects that I have a good solid grasp on, and so I'm going to just sort of name other projects that are out there that are not particularly active at the moment, or that I don't know where they are, and then I'll open it up to anybody that wants to make observations or ask questions, and we'll be done. Yeah, okay. We continue to see teasers from the new Laura Conrad novel. We don't know the name of it. We don't know the completion date, but she is hard at work. Those of you who are familiar with
Lorelei, You'll Never Die.
Lorelei, You'll Never Die, will
Sky
know,
Goddesses of Dryden.
and Sky Goddesses of Dryden will know what a jewel we have in Laura Conrad and her writing. She also was donated a piece of art by Maike, a fabulous post-apocalypse woman.
Oh, I know.
It's a wonderful piece of art. I don't actually know what that will end up on the cover of, but it has been given to Laura just to use for whatever she wants. So Laura is active, and we know that. Along with the release of Dryden Nightmares, or maybe after the release of Dryden Nightmares, a series of essays that I did about what would happen in horror movies if you tried to do them in real life will be coming out. It's called The Gory Details. It's very funny and very gross. There are 52 of them, and K.A. Patterson of Froggy Bottom Press gave me rights to them, which was very nice of her. So that will be coming out.
Can we back up a second?
Yes, ma'am.
Laura Conrad also is contributing a story to the Nightmares anthology.
Is that the name that I dropped? Must be, because I
Yes,
didn't
I
say
think
it.
so. I don't remember you saying it.
Oh, that's right. Yes, because I told her I wanted creepy, and she said I can do creepy, and I said you are creepy. All right.
And
So
then
yes.
she laughed at you.
And then she laughed at me. Yes. because she's actually adorable. But Dryden Nightmares will have a Laura Conrad story. That's the person who it was bugging me that I couldn't remember the name of. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you very much. And
You're
we are
very
expecting to see the draft of that by January 1st. I don't know why I can't just keep all this stuff straight in my head.
welcome.
We
Just
have
wonder.
we have novels out there in various stages of dress that I know of from Kitty, from Katrina, and from Dan Hunt. I don't know where those stories are. I don't know when I will see them. I don't know how they're doing. The Manhattan playtest group of Big Damn Dryden has started something called the Citadel, which is an expansion to Big Damn Dryden, and I have no idea what it is. It's, again, one of those projects that is existing on the side. I don't know if it'll come through us. I don't know how it will find its way into print or if it will. But I know that those guys are serious when they play Big Damn Dryden. They got together on a Thursday night just to talk about what they were going to do next time they played Big Damn Dryden. They are also the origin of one of my very favorite characters in the Dryden universe, who is Posey, who's played by Chelsea Ann, who will be playing with us on the 4th. Posey is a psychic, but she had a break, and she failed a sanity check, and now whenever she tries to cast an illusion, there's a chance that the entire party will actually be affected by the illusion, which just almost got everybody killed one evening. And that was a lot of fun. Okay, then I just want to kind of touch out there the fantasy universe, a Periogon exists. It exists as the role-playing game, the foundations of the role-playing game. It has been idled. We feel like that's a big universe and is going to take a lot of support and have a lot of potential, and that we're just not ready for it yet. Steampunk continues to idle. We continue to have a lot of conversations with Mike about it, but both Mike and I keep going, well, as soon as I have some time, I'll send you. So that goes back and forth. And every once in a while, I hear about the translations of Aetherhertz. We have rights to 7 steampunk novels that were written in German and are undergoing translation. That translation is not happening very fast, but it is out there. And Tracy, have I missed a genre?
APOC.
APOC has Lorelei in it, and from time to time someone talks about the next thing that's going to happen in APOC, and we haven't seen it yet, unless Laura decides that the novel she's working on belongs in APOC, which I think she wants to put it in Nightmares, doesn't she?
I don't know. She's been pretty tight-lipped about it.
Yeah.
She said that when it's finished, then I can get my grubby little mitts on it, and until then. And I'm like,
Okay.
oh, this suspense is killing me.
So
the woes of being an editor. You get all the cool crap early, and then you have to wait forever.
And not tell anybody what they're missing.
Right. Well, you know, I mentioned earlier, and I'll mention it again because Damien's here. Dryden House has put together a surprise for the folks at the party on Monday night for Rise of the European, and it moved me to tears. It's a wonderful thing, and we're just having to sit on it. We can't tell anybody what's going on because it's a surprise.
Keep bringing it up, and you're going to end up blowing it.
Self-control, self-control. So anyway, that is everything that I have on my list. We're really, I think, pretty full through the first half of 2016, and then, of course, by the time we get to the second half of 2016, we'll have a whole lot more, I'm sure, that has come up and developed. What I'd kind of like to do now is just open up and let people ask questions, make comments, tell me things that I forgot or that they think we should be doing.
I tell you all the time what you should be doing.
And well over 30% of the time, I immediately quit what I'm doing and go do it. It's Damien, how are you doing in terms of the projects that you're working on? Are you missing support or needing support or see directions that you want to go?
No, I'm doing good. I'm just like working on refocusing for my story that I'm working on currently. I was at a kind of a weird point in the draft, but Tracy helped me out because she's awesome. She does that, and so I'm going to be working on finishing that, and then right now I can't think of anything that I need. As far as just general comments, I mean, I can't wait till Monday. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. We're gonna hit the market in the middle of Cyber Monday, which hopefully is good for us, but we might just get totally bowled under by the volume of marketing going on Cyber Monday. But in the end, we're not really about the profits. We're about the building and the enjoyment. And it's important to have the profits in there to be able to do what we love for a living. But we can't.
Shoot, this is
We
my day job.
Yeah, we can't compete with the big boys, and so if it helps us that we're on Cyber Monday, that's awesome. And if it's not, then lesson learned. Eugene, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to type away over there, and I'll relay them. So, Fluffy, you're kind of new. Give us some feedback. Are we hard to access? Are we difficult? I mean, I know Damien's grouchy, but he's always like that.
Are we overwhelming?
Are
Overwhelming might be a good word. No, I'm. For me, it's I've been so crazy busy that it's been me just not touching base, and so you guys have been really awesome with regards to that fact, if for nothing else. But yeah.
Well, I can tell you that very much our philosophy is that we want you to work out of your passion. We are about the things that we are passionate in. We're all people who are passionate about these stories, and there comes a kind of an awkward moment where we have to know what date we're going to do something, or we have to know whether or not we're going to get a draft. But until we get there, we tend to be really laid back. Are you working on that? No. Are you working on that? No, I changed and I started working on something else because we want to go where you want to go, and we've built this Creative Commons model where we can. And so every once in a while, I'm like, look, if you don't send me that draft, I'm going to sick Tracy on you, and that's a scary day because damn. But if we don't have to behave like that way, and in fact we're averse to behaving that way, we will attempt not to behave that way. We're very much kind of, well, you want to submit something? Okay, well, I'm not putting you on the schedule until I see it, but I like your work, so let us know, right? So I hope that the experience you're having is that we're really laid back and
I have a story. I have a story that I'm writing, and he's like, so when am I going to get it? And I'm like, 50 years from now. He goes, okay.
If she's passionate about that story, it'll be the only thing that she can do. She won't be able to think because she's too busy thinking about that story.
I have a 6-year-old. I don't give a crap what your passion is. The 6-year-old trumps everything.
Yeah, I would hope so.
I took my son out shopping with me today, and we're going past the perfume rack, and it is necessary to stop at each individual, and I'm like, no, we smelled that one already. That's the third bottle. Can you? Finally, you just walk away, and it's like he's only going to scream for a minute. He'll get over it. All right, I want a bottle of Lady Gaga Fame just so I can say that I have a bottle of Lady Gaga perfume. I don't even know what it smells like.
It's pretty good, actually.
Is it? I bought this white lily stuff that smells wonderful, but if you actually put it on you, about 3 hours later, you're like, okay, I'm taking a shower.
Yeah.
All right, Lady Gaga Fame. All right, well, that's a positive recommendation from Fluffy Sama. Maybe I'll go back. So anyway, I hope that the experience that you have working with us is that we're business enough to do business when we need to, but when we don't have to, this is about our passions. This is about what we love to do. So there we go. All right. Well, folks, if we don't have any other comments or questions, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kill the broadcast, and then we can hang out and chat as long as folks are interested in hanging out and chatting. But it'll conclude the official part of the evening. Anyone? All right, we're done. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. I'm Joel. This is my hot pink bedroom, and this has been the Dryden Weekly Meeting.